In the centuries following the Mage Clan Wars, the pendulum between mysticism and faith swung heavily towards the latter. Humankind had seen the disastrous consequences of magic, and while these arts were still practiced by some, the majority began turning to faith as a foundation for their lives. This atmosphere gave rise to a myriad religions, but none have moved and shaped history so much as the Zakarum Church. From my research, it appears that the seeds of this faith were planted by a mysterious figure named Akarat, at some point prior to the formation of the Horadrim. By the accounts I hold to be true, Akarat was a wandering ascetic from a rugged mountain island of Shangsai, north of Kyrgyzstan. Having become disillusioned with his society and its incessant conflict, he joined the ranks of a humble meditative order that sought enlightenment and peace in Shangsai's house snowy peaks. One night, while deep in meditation, he envisioned a spectacular flash of light and energy cascading across the sky. With this phenomenon came insight regarding the universe, reality, and humankind itself as an ascendant power. Akarat attributed his revelation to an angelic being named Urius, or Son of Light in his native language. Subsequently, Akarat wrote extensively about the role of humans as powerful beings of light, meant to bring an alignment to all things in the universe. All men and women, he purported, were bound together in a spectrum of cosmic radiance that was the foundation of existence itself. Moved by what he saw, Akarat set out on a grand journey to the ancient cities of Kyrgyzstan, intent on enlightening his fellow man about the divine light that existed within everyone, no matter what their race, religion, or social status. He is said to have exuded selflessness and compassion to their purest forms. Over time, a number of loyal disciples flocked to Akarat's side. By all accounts, Akarat was kind, selfless, unassuming. But what I found most interesting is that he never desired that his teaching would lead to the formation of a religion. His goal was simple: to share the wondrous things that he had learned so that others would live with goodness in their hearts. At some point, the lore varies on the date, Akarat disappeared into the jungles of Kyrgyzstan, content that he had spread his message to as many others as he could. He was never seen again. Over the following years, his ideals were carried on and preached in the streets of Kyrgyzstan's cities by a devoted few. The name Zakarum came into use to describe those who follow the ideal of Zakara, or inner light. Akarat himself had never given a name to his beliefs, for he had never intended them to represent an actual institution. The appearance of this name, however, represents that the Zakarum faithful were becoming more of a formal group. When the Horadrim captured Mephistos' wretched essence within the Sapphire Soulstone, the mages turned to the Zakarum believers, who were at that time still a small and humble order, for assistance. Talrasha in particular had an affinity with the faith's monks, and he firmly believed that they were the only individuals who could be trusted with guarding the Soulstone. My own explanation for Akarat's supernatural experience differs from the historical accounts. Ever since the end of the Sin War, there have been rare reports of mystics witnessing what I can only describe as Odysseus' ultimate sacrifice and merger with the universe. Inscriptions in the books of Kalan note that the sudden release of his energies illuminated the sky quite brilliantly. I believe that this act still echoes throughout time, albeit on a psychic plane rather than a physical one, and can be seen only by those deep in meditation. Thus, I theorize that it is this phenomenon that Akarat witnessed and interpreted as being Urius. As the Horadrim continued their hunt for the remaining primes, the Zakarum set about building a temple where they could safeguard Mephistos' soulstone. It was in the dense jungles near Kurast that they ultimately found what became known as Travancal. This humble place of worship would later grow into a massive temple city at the heart of the Eastern civilization. Much of what came to pass in the generations that followed has been written about extensively, and is no mystery to those of us living in modern times. In summation, the Zakarum order grew even more influential until it became the supreme political power in all of Kyrgyzstan. The faith's leader codified their beliefs and created a religious hierarchy composed of different offices. The Holy Seat, the Hagen, the highest divine authority of the church, was established and filled. Under this revered figure, attendant archbishops of the High Council were tasked with administrating the various territories under Zakarum control. With Kyrgyzstan under its heel, the church looked to what some saw as the barbaric and uncivilized regions to the west. Rakkis, a devout champion of the faith, marshaled a great host to claim and enlighten these lands in the name of the Hagen. His long and arduous crusade to colonize the west would marginalize many of these lands, in some cases through brute force. Rakkis finally settled in Westmarch, which was named to commemorate his grand crusade, and reigned as king of that region until the end of his days. Following the conquest, regional lords from the east were appointed to govern these new outlaid hubs in the name of the Zakarum Church. With that, the faith's reach had spread to nearly every corner of the world, leaving only a scarce few regions untouched by its influence.